Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Now today I've got a very special guest. As we all know, the season is back at the weekend and it's all very exciting, and I thought I'd bring on an Everton fan to talk a bit about how they're feeling about their season coming up and the transfers, and we can both talk about our teams. I'm delighted to be joined by Rose, and Rose does have her own channel, which is Everton Rose. Do you want to just tell people a bit about your channel to those that might not know you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Hey, I'm Rose from Everton Rose. I started my channel a few years ago. Just thought that I had something maybe slightly different to say and slightly different perspective. And so, yeah, I initially had Twitter and got a decent following on there, and then just moved over to YouTube and I do match reactions, watch-alongs, obviously predominantly for Everton games. But yeah, I like to get opposition fans on as well. So it's basically my channel.
Yeah, that sounds right. And I've watched your content for a while, and it's great to see like passionate fans out there talking about the club. And yeah, I will put your channel in the description, the title, so please go and subscribe. I thought we could start off by talking about Everton because I think it's going to be a big season for you guys. You did survive last season, and it's been quite a few tough years. You know, you've just managed to survive a few of the seasons. You've got a new manager, and you've brought a few different players. And for you, next season, the season coming up, what would you say your like expectations and goals are?
This is probably going to sound really weird to say after the season that you guys have had, like quite the opposite. 17th is like, if you offered me 17th right now, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I'll take it. Just skip all of the despair. Genuinely, I think the squad is weak. Like, we've made an addition today, it's good. But on the whole, the reason that we are where we are is just years of failure. And like, I don't want to get too much into it, but if somebody offered me 17th, I wouldn't be happy with 17th.
Yeah.
But it's a realistic expectation. Anything better than that, great. You know, a few wins away from home would be good as well after last year. So genuinely, the objective is to stay up, though. Like, on a serious note, it's there aren't Everton fans that are thinking, oh, we're going to go for Europe mid-table. No, like, the expectation is to stay in the league.
Yeah, I agree. Like, as an Arsenal fan, as someone like as an opposition, I think, you know, you've done good to stay up. It was really scary last season. You've had a few difficult seasons, and as we know, you've had a few different managers. Now you've got Sean Dyche. He kept Everton up, and I think he did a good job to do that. It was really difficult. But for you, do you think this season is big for him, and do you think he should get a lot of time?
Yeah, I think the one thing that Dyche has done since he came in, like, the defense just looks so much better organized, not leaking goals. And that's really since he came in. And I'm afraid, yeah, it was against you guys. That was his first game at home. Yeah, sorry about that. But
That's okay.
yeah, like the clean sheet right away, and just he's working the players hard. He's trying to get them fitter, because I think something else with our team is that over the years, our fitness has been quite poor. And so I think what Dyche has done well is that he's got us organised, we work hard, and we're not losing because it's a lack of effort or a lack of trying. It's just the other team's probably better. So I think Dyche should get time with this kind of, with the additions that we've brought in.
Yeah, definitely. I think personally, like, I think it's important to give managers time. Obviously, I think, you know, when Frank Lampard was with you, I think I just didn't ever see. I think he obviously was a fantastic player, but I think some like ex-footballers are sometimes better as pundits. And I think with
Yeah.
Sean Dyche, I think at Burnley he did a really good job. And I think with Everton, I agree. I think you've got to give managers time because, like, for Arteta, you know, we went through some rocky times, and you've got to give managers time to get their players in, because each manager has their own style of play and they need those players to do that. So I definitely agree with you with that. We know you've brought some signings in. We know Ashley Young is very experienced, Begovic, and you've signed someone today, I think, Jeremiti. Talking on like those signings, do you think that'll be enough for you guys to stay up?
Not quite. I
Hmm.
think not yet. So we actually so we signed Young, we signed
Yeah.
Danjuma on loan, and then we signed Chimiti today permanently. He's very unproven. So I did a video on my channel about it, and I'm happy. Like 19-year-old striker, plays for Portugal youth teams, broke through at had his breakthrough season at Sporting last year, played a good amount of time, scored a few goals, but he's raw. So I think for him to come in, and then fans to expect 20 goals, it's ambitious, so I
Yeah.
said half that. If he can come in, score 10 goals, I think just we need bodies, because Calvert-Lewin's injury record is just really worrying. Morpay hasn't worked out. We just needed somebody in. And I do hate saying that, because it shouldn't just be, just bring any guy in. But at this point, the season starts tomorrow, so we needed at least one young striker in. And then if we bring Nonto in as well from Leeds, who looks like that one will happen, I think then we'll be okay, I think, to stay up.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's hard for Everton because, like you said, you don't know how it's going to go with your new signings, and I think it's so important for you guys to just stay up and maintain that. And we also know Ashley Young does have that
Yeah.
experience. He has been around for a while. Do you reckon that experience in him will help you guys in the season?
Definitely. So we let Connor Cody go. He went to
Mm.
Leicester. We let Yerry Mina go. I've forgotten where he went. But so we kind of lost a couple of leaders. And so I think bringing Young in, as you say, so experienced, just been there, done it. I mean, even in pre-season, I watched him and I was like, you're a level above a lot of these
Yeah.
players, and you're 38. So that tells you everything you need to know really about the state of Everton right now. So I think Young will be important, just in terms of maybe a calming presence, hopefully, vocal, but also just calm, like Chimiti, who's 19 down, Dwight McNeil's still quite young, Garner's young. We have quite a few young players that have some potential. So it could turn out that Everton have a better season than I'm predicting, in terms of 17th or whatever.
Yeah, like you said with Connor Cody as well, he was really experienced, and it's really difficult when you lose those experienced players because they're really important for the team. And we know Ashley Young's been around for a while, but I definitely think he will definitely help with your team. You do need experienced players that have been in the league for a while because they know what it's like. And for the new players that come in, he'll probably definitely help them with that. And like you said, we know the season's starting tomorrow. I think you've got Fulham at home.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about going into that game? Are you feeling optimistic, or are you a bit not so sure about it?
It's at home. That's the
Yeah.
first biggest positive. And we've got the same manager, like you say, Sean Dyche. The crowd, the signing's been announced today. That will be a boost.
Yeah.
Instead of it being prolonged into the season starting, that he'll be unveiled. So I think there will be quite a good atmosphere around Goodison tomorrow. Um, we'll see though. I don't. The thing is that we've got a few injuries. So Dwight McNeil is out, and he's just gone from being somebody that I was completely indifferent about when he signed from Burnley to now he's one of our biggest goal threats. We've had an unbeaten pre-season. The opponents weren't up to much, but we were unbeaten. We kept a lot of clean sheets. I think we only conceded one goal. We scored a few, and so time will tell. I mean, I'd take a 1-0 right now, but Fulham, after last year, they're decent. So I really can't call it, because we've got a few
Yeah.
injuries, and it's just the issue of where are the goals coming from. So this Chimiti signing is great, but he's unproven, he's raw. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit hard, isn't it? Because I suppose if when a player comes in and do really well and they come to your team, you probably feel more confident because you know they've done really well before. So it's obviously really difficult. And like you said, I think having the fans at home, I think that'll be a big boost. Hopefully you guys can start off the season on a high. I thought
Be
I'd
good.
ask, yeah, on a positive note for Everton, which players do you expect to, have a good season, maybe stand out for your team?
So probably one of the more unknown ones would be James Garner. So we signed him from United, but last year it was just like plagued with injuries. But really towards the back end of last season, he started playing at right wing back. But he's actually a midfielder. But because we were so short in terms of our squad, he excelled there. And I think if he can stay injury free, he's one. Decore, I do see our midfield as actually a point of strength, where we actually have good players that can be rotated. Decore obviously scored the goal that kept us up, so he's got a lot of free passes now, basically.
Yeah.
But Decore, James Garner, Onana as well, who's been the subject of like interest from like West Ham and United and
Yeah, he's been
Chelsea.
really
Like,
good, yeah.
so I think you'll notice that like I'm really speaking about the midfielders, and up from I'm like, oh, like maybe an unknown would be like Lewis Dobbin. He's an academy graduate. He's looked decent in pre-season. So at the back, obviously we've got like Tarkovsky and Pickford, like the obvious ones that I rate. But touch words, it might be more positive than I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, staying up last season was really important. And I think going to the season, like, we've got new signings. And like you said, in the pre-season games, you've sort of managed to keep some clean sheets. Obviously, for me, I think for the pre-season, it's always hard to kind of, how do you see it?
Yeah.
Because like Arsenal did win the Community Shield, but I just think it's about what you do in the season as well, because it's all good pre-season, but it's always hard when you go into the season. I did want to touch on like Calvert-Lewin. We know he is so good. A lot of other clubs have shown interest in the future, like with Arsenal and other teams. Do you know when he's injured, do you feel a bit worried that you might not have enough attacking going forward?
Yeah, I mean, when he plays, it's so different.
Yeah.
Like when he's in the team, leading the line, being the focal point, he's come into criticism for like various reasons from some Everton fans, whether his injury record or what he's doing off the pitch or whatever. But it's like undeniable that when Calvert-Lewin is on the pitch, we just look like we can score. We look like we can threaten. And centre backs have someone to deal with. Whereas when you really contrast that with Morpay, of who's somebody who's like way smaller, easy to bully, it's just there's no comparison. I think the interest is like probably flattering for Calvert-Lewin, but he played 17 times last year and I think 17 times the season before. So really like the target for Calvert-Lewin is to play like 20 plus games and to play at least half of them without breaking down, without getting injured, because on his day, he's a really good striker. So it's just trying to keep him fit for Everton.
Yeah, I do agree. I think he's like so good. Like when he comes on for Everton, you can tell like the difference in the game. You've got more energy. You go forward a lot more. And like I said, with Arsenal, like I think he's really good. But like you said, the injury thing is probably a bit difficult for. That's probably why people haven't got him through as much, because I think his goal right now probably would be, trying to get fit for many of his games for Everton, because he needs to play as many as he can. So hopefully the season he won't have many injuries, fingers crossed, because I do actually like to watch him play. I think he's really good. I did want to ask you a bit about Arsenal now. We know Arsenal have progressed a lot in the last season or two. We've gone from trying to get top four to kind of going for the league. Unfortunately, we did fall short at the end last season. But for you, like, what are your thoughts on the Arsenal at the moment with how they progressed?
I mean, I think I too had like question marks about Arteta. I know it's still a bit of a debate with your fans, but I think it's good that he's been given time to really get you guys playing the way that he wants. I really enjoy watching Arsenal play now, and I feel like I haven't really been able to say that since maybe I was a kid, and you had like the real like legends and the Invincibles, etc. But I just say so I watched the Community Shield, and it's like nice seeing a team being able to go toe to toe with Man City and like competing. I think the additions that you've made have been good. I think Timber stood out to me. I didn't really know anything about him, but I thought this guy looks pretty good. So I think what's nice now is that you have that competition for places, because it's like, well, is Zinchenko going to play or is Timber going to play? And then you've got, I think, is it Tomiyasu as well, who's like a rotation player. And then, I think Rice is the big signing. I don't know about, the thing is with Rice, I really like him. I think he's a really good player, but it's like, is he just going to do the same role that he did for West Ham? Or are you guys going to expect more goals out of him, more assists? Like, are you going to expect him to be that leader with like what you've paid for him? Like, I'm sure he can handle the pressure of that, but it'll be interesting to see how he does. I maybe had a question for you in terms of, I really like your defense, like Saliba, Gabriel, rate them. Midfield looks good. Like your attack, like in terms of your striker, I know Jesus is out, isn't he?
Yeah.
Do you think you need a striker, or like, are you happy with what you've got?
Yeah, I think definitely we need a striker. Like, I
Okay.
think with Jesus out, even with Jesus out, I'd probably bring one in anyway, because I think we've got Eddie Nketiah, which he is good and he can probably score 10 goals or in other competitions, but I just don't think he is probably the guy, to win us the league, to be that guy. Because last season when Jesus was out, he had to kind of step up, and in games he did, but in other games, I don't think he could keep it up until the end. Like, he could do it for a few games, but then it didn't really last. So,
the pressure. Or...
yeah, I do think he's good, but I don't think he would be a starter for me. We do
I
obviously,
like
yeah.
What about Balogun? Like, he's rated quite highly, no? Or is he going?
Yeah, it's quite a difficult one, because I would keep Balogun. I do like him, and I'd give him a chance. But I think, in the pre-season, he's not really had many starts, and I'm not sure he wants to stay. There's been a lot of rumours about him going, so I presume he will go, but I'd give him the chance, because I do think we need a striker. That's something that worries me going into the season, because we've done well in midfield. We've got Declan Rice, and we've got Timber, who looks really good, and Havertz is another one where I think I'm going to see how it goes. When you heard about Havertz, at Chelsea, he didn't really have a great time there. What did you make of that, him coming to Arsenal?
There's kind of a history with you guys now, isn't it? Like a little bit like they, like Peter Cech, Gallas. Like, it's not unusual. Yeah, I mean, it's not unusual to see players making the move from Chelsea to Arsenal. My kind of one query would be like, where's he going to play? Because you've already got Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli. Does Martinelli have to drop out and then Havertz plays? Or you can put Havertz up front, like as a false nine or whatever, like the new lingo is. Like, it's interesting. I think it's good, again, because you are going to be fighting in 4 competitions. Like, squad depth is important. But I guess I'm just kind of surprised to not just see you go like for an out-and-out striker. Like, because if I think of like Newcastle, for example, who like look like they're going to challenge again because they're making good signings and they've got the same manager, they've got the funding. Like, is it Isaac and like Wilson? Like Newcastle have like 2 clear, these are our options up front. With Arsenal, I'm a bit more like, it changes maybe game by game. Like, sometimes maybe it's Jesus up there, or sometimes it's going to be Havertz, or sometimes it's going to be Nketiah.
It's a hard one. Like, we don't really have a consistent person at the front. Like, with Jesus, he's the first. He'd be the first option. But I think with Havertz, when he played in the Community Shield, I think he did do good. He did show good signs of the movement on the ball and helping the team. But I think he had 2 very good chances. Yeah, I think one of them was a half turn, so it was probably a bit difficult. But there was another one that I think he should have scored.
I saw that one. Yeah, he should have scored that one.
And I think for me, it's difficult because I see how he's been at Chelsea. He did miss a lot of easy chances, but there's other part of me that thinks, you know what, he's gone for a move. He's Chelsea is where he's been for a little while, and he's decided that it's not working out there. So it's hard because I really want it to work out, but then if it doesn't, then it probably fall bad on like Eddie or Arteta. But it's always hard when we get people from Chelsea, because I think most of the time they've been okay. I think Jorginho's been good last season. I think he took Partey's place in midfield, so I think he's done a good job. But I think with players like Willian, it just hasn't been good. So I'm always a bit nervous when we buy from Chelsea, because I want to buy players that are good, not players that were good and are not as good as they used to be. So I'm always a bit nervous when I'm buying for Chelsea. But yeah, I think the striker position is one that I'm a bit nervous about. But there's also we've got Trossard. I don't know if we would
Oh yeah, Trossard as well.
because I think I would be tempted to try him up there because
Yeah,
I think
agree.
he's like he started when he came on in the game, he did score. I know it was a bit of a lucky goal, but he kind of made that effort. He got his own look. So there's that. I think I would try it in, but I reckon Arteta might go for Havertz or maybe Eddie. I don't know. I'm just not sure, but I feel
Yeah.
more confident with Trossard. Really, do you think he's been a good signing for Arsenal?
Yeah, I like Trossard. Didn't he like get Player of the Month for March, but
Yeah,
then it kind of dropped
I know. I
like
didn't get
a lot in
that.
April. So yeah, that was interesting. I was gonna say like you guys should have just been really cheeky and gone for Kane and just been like, here's 80 million.
I would
Like
love to see
even
if Kane would actually want to come to us, because that'd be
I
funny.
know
The
because
Tottenham
I think
fans would have a
honestly,
meltdown.
if you got Kane, like I think obviously it's not gonna happen, but if you guys had got him, you probably would have got the league because I think that's what you're short. You're short just
Yeah,
that really like Kane is not going to miss the one that Havertz missed, like in my opinion.
yeah,
So
he'll
like
score
it
that,
would
I'm sure.
he. I can't even give you a comparison like kind of player to Kane. I don't know. Maybe abroad in Italy, there's someone like that, but yeah,
Yeah,
you guys have been
yeah,
into Lukaku as well, though, right? Lukaku and
yeah.
is
I
it no?
think I was talking to someone the other day, and they were just saying how hard it is to find kind of strikers in the market now. And I quite like Ivan Toney, but obviously because of things that
Oh
happened, he
yeah,
would miss a big chunk of the season. So it's obviously a bit difficult. So yeah, I think it's hard because we've brought a backup goalkeeper as well, and we've got rid of Matt Turner. He's gone to Nottingham Forest. But I think for me, like the striker in the midfield and obviously defence is where we should strengthen. So I think with Havertz, like you said, I don't know which position he can play in because I think he can do midfield, he can do up front, but I think maybe if he got a few starts, he might end up scoring. I think a lot of people have written him off because of how he was at Chelsea,
yeah,
and I think he might need a fresh start. But then I hope it does work because we have paid a lot of money for him. I'm not
yeah,
sure I would say he's worth that. Like Declan Rice, I don't think he's worth that. But I think we need an upgrade in midfield with losing Xhaka. So I think you've just got to sometimes go with the price. I think with Declan Rice, I didn't mind paying 100 million because, he's the West Ham's captain. He's like their player that he's had for ages, and
yeah,
they probably have milked it a bit, which is fine because if one of our players like Saka went, we'd probably do the same. So I think I
yeah.
get that. So yeah, I think that's fair. I did want to ask you though, from the times you've watched Arsenal, whether it's like so far this season in the Community
Mhm.
Shield or last season,
Yeah.
which players for you have impressed you?
I think since you mentioned him, yeah, Trossard was really good for you guys. Um, I really like Martinelli. I just think like when he gets on the ball, it's just exciting. Like you just
Yeah,
like, okay, he's going to drive at defenders. He's going to try and put the ball in the box. He's going to try and shoot. Um, so I really like those two. In terms of defensively, like I really like Saliba. Um, yeah, I think like those three would be like the standout ones. I obviously like Saka, but I'm not sure if he like tailed off a little bit because
mm,
we expect so much from him, like almost to score every week and like to create a goal every week. We've all got, even if you're not an Arsenal fan, you're like, oh, you expect Saka to do something. Like honestly, he's in my FPL team like a lot of last year. I was like, Saka, what are you doing? You got 2 points again. Like I booted him out and put Martinelli in because I was like, you're 8 million. You're 8 million in my team, and you're not scoring every week. I need to get rid of you. So I think maybe I'm a bit like biased from that point of view. But no, I think it's good for Arsenal have been kind of since the stadium and that like you guys have been just going for top four and wanting to qualify for Champions Leagues, and it's just nice seeing you challenge for titles again. Really,
yeah, like you said, with the whole stadium thing, it's been quite difficult. Like I think getting top four is good for the club, but it's not where we should be. So I think
yeah,
I feel kind of relieved like where we are at the moment because like when we were 8th and like when we came 5th, it's obviously an improvement coming 5th to 8th, but it's not where Arsenal should be. So
Yeah.
it's been a bit tough, and like I felt your pain sometimes as an Everton fan, because it's always like difficult when your team's doing really bad. Like I remember when Arsenal were down in a relegation zone for the first few games of the season. I think it was the one before last season. So it is always difficult for that. But I think it's just nice when your club's sort of going in the right direction. I did thought I'd ask you this because I've seen it going around everywhere. I'd love to know what your top 4 predictions are for the league.
Oh, so it's to win the league?
Like your top 4, like in order.
Oh, okay. Sorry, top 4 clubs in order. I think Man City are weaker, to be honest. They've lost a few of their midfielders. I will put. It's not just because I'm on your channel, by the way, and I'm saying Arsenal first, but I think if you can get a tune out of Havertz and he can contribute, could be the difference. So I will go you guys first. I think Liverpool are going to come second. I was just reading actually before we came on that they've signed or pretty much agreed to sign Caicedo for £111 million. I think it's a great signing. The market's ridiculous, like you say, with the Rice money and the money for Caicedo and that. So I think Liverpool will come second, and that does pay me to say. I'm going to put Man City third, and then United fourth. I've left Spurs out, but I've left Spurs out because I think, one, that'll be popular on this channel, and two, I think losing Kane they look like they're going to. He's off to Bayern, and I just don't see who they get to have that impact on them. It could be our old boy Richarlison. I don't know. He might step up and do it, but yeah, I think so. There's what I said. I said Arsenal, Man City. No, sorry, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, United. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, it's obviously tough because like with last season it was just sort of Arsenal, Man City going head to head, and now I just think other teams are gonna go ahead as well. Like I think I do agree. I think Liverpool are going to have a good season. I think I'm actually with you on that. I think I'd probably go Arsenal, and I'm tossing between Man City and Liverpool because I know Man City have like a few players have left, like Gundogan, Mahrez, and I think with Arsenal, I think because of last season, you know, the team probably weren't happy with how it ended, and we've brought experience in, and we want to, you know, go toe to toe with them again this season. So I think I'd probably go Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, and United. I think United have gotten better. I think I've said that I don't think they're quite where we are with Man City, but I do think, you know, they've got a new manager. Maguire's looking to go to West Ham, and they're getting rid of players that probably let them down a bit, that weren't probably great with performances. So I think they will probably be much better, which pains me to say that. And I did also want to get your thoughts on like the teams down in the relegation zone. Hopefully not Everton.
Yeah.
What do you think the top 3 will be at the bottom?
Honestly, I think Luton. I'm just trying to think. So Burnley and Luton have come up. Okay.
I think Sheffield United have come up as well.
Sheffield United. I mean, I'd love to just say those 3, but honestly, I don't see Burnley going down. I think Company has done such a good job with them that I think they'll probably survive. So I'm going to say Luton, Sheffield United, and I'm going to be going to say Wolves. I don't know what's going on with Wolves. I know that Neves went off to Saudi Arabia, and their manager just left like a couple of days ago, just to disagreements. I've forgotten his name. It begins with an L. But yeah, so he's gone. Neves is gone, and it just seems like Wolves haven't really got a direction. So I'm going to go with them as the third team to go down.
Do you know as well, like I'm not sure what I think about with West Ham because they've lost to Declan Rice, and I don't know if they've brought many players in. So I'm thinking, will they struggle this season? I reckon they probably will be at maybe the bottom, like from 11th to maybe 17th. I reckon they will have enough to stay up. I reckon, but I think with them they'll probably struggle this season as well. I'm with you in Wolves. I don't think they'll stay up. I just think, with Neves going, and I just don't know where the direction is as a club. I think with Luton, I do think they'll go down, and I know I've been watching a few people say that, but I think sometimes when it's your first time in the Premier League, especially in a while, it's a lot to deal with. So I reckon them. Sheffield United, I agree with that. I think, like you said, with Burnley, I think they did so well last season. I know it was in the Championship, but I just reckon they'll have enough to be in the Premier League for a few seasons. So I'm going to go with that, but it's going to be tough. I think the season's going to be really exciting. And obviously, we know with Tottenham as well, losing out to Kane. I did want to just get your thoughts on that. It looks like he's going to Bayern Munich. Were you surprised to see this?
Yes, I thought that he might. I thought that he might stay just one more year. Like, it was really weird yesterday. Like, they were like, "Oh right, yeah, Tottenham have agreed to do with Bayern." No, wait, he doesn't want to go. Like, it just kept changing. And even today, like, I've just googled it now, and it's like, "Oh no, the move's in doubt." And then some people saying he's off his medical. I'm like, I won't believe it until like he's got the Bayern shirt in his hand. I think Kane. I think honestly, if you're a Tottenham fan, you can't wish him anything but like good luck. Like, I think there is. Because otherwise he could leave in a season for nothing, give the club like no fee, leave and genuinely sign for Arsenal or Manchester United like for free, which I could see him doing. So I think it is a bit of a shame for the Premier League to like lose that goal scorer, lose that talisman, like not lose the England captain or whatever, but he deserves trophies like for what he's done in his career. And I think he's already record goal scorer for them, I think, isn't he? So to get a couple of Bundesligas or maybe a Champions League, it's the right move.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I've seen a lot of pundits, on the internet say, like, if I was Kane, I'd rather break records in the Premier League. But when you finish your career, I think personally, you're going to look back on what trophies you've won, not just what records you broke, because I think, say like Henry, he was a fantastic player, probably one of the greatest in the Premier League, but it's about what you've achieved as well, because that's what people will remember you by. So I know this sounds mean, but I'm kind of glad he's leaving, because I'll enjoy the Spurs meltdown on Twitter. But yeah, I'm surprised, because I think, he does love Spurs, and no one can, argue against that. But I think it's fair if he wants to leave. He's not won a trophy. I think he's about 30 now, and I think he could win a Champions League as well by Munich. It's not just the league in like Germany you can win. It's also about the Champions League as well. So I definitely think that move's good. But like I said, I'm gonna see it when it actually happens, when he's wearing a Bayern shirt, because I saw a thing today saying, oh, he's gone to get his medical, and then I heard saying he's not going just yet. So I'm just like, I'm just not gonna
making it up.
I'm gonna wait until I see it. But I've really enjoyed chatting with you today, Rose. As we said before, Rose does have a channel, so I'll put that in the description. To those that might want to give you a follow on social media, could you just let people know where to follow you?
Oh yeah, sure. So yeah, if you put Everton Rose into YouTube, it'll come up, I'm sure. I'm on Instagram. I use that mostly. So yeah, it's just Everton __ Rose. And yeah, you can find me on there as well.
Yeah, give her a follow, and yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. I really enjoyed chatting with you. It was lovely to talk about your club, our club, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And to those that will watch this back, I really hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.
Bye.